like when we originally got the boxes, we didn't really know what to do with them.
Being transparent and sounding the horn, like, hey, this happened to us.
So we're kind of late bloomers in a way, you know, in the sense of like,
VeeFam, what's up? Rob, Mr. Messer back with a very special episode, one that I am super pumped about. I am here for the first time ever with multiple guests and two very, very special guests at that. None other than Whiskey Jack and Ben Kind, aka Sam and Ben. Guys, how are you? Thank you for coming on. All of the things. What's happening?
happy to be here.
I feel like with the whole three-way thing, it's tricky at the beginning, but I think we're going to get a serious flow going. I think we're going to be experts by the end of this thing. So excited to talk to you. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show, but I always like to run it back, take it back to chapter 1 or day 0, comic book 1, as Gary likes to say. So if you just don't mind giving me a quick 55-second cliff notes on both of you pre VeeFriends, pre NFTs.
We were both homeschooled. Sorry, Whiskey, you're outed. And so I grew up very tight-knit family, 7 boys, 1 girl. And I worked with my dad from 18 to 28 in wastewater system design here in Texas. And 2007, 2008, the housing crisis drastically affected that work. So I left that and went to basically doing odd jobs, roofing houses, painting houses, doing whatever I could, and then working at Starbucks for 3 years. And from Starbucks, I met a guy who wanted to open a local coffee shop, and we did that. And then a couple years into that, I decided to open a tattoo shop. Fast forward to the pandemic, and I decided to also open a software development shop with a friend and Whiskey, and that's how we are here today.
Amazing. So I heard 8 kids, 7 boys, 1 girls. Where are you guys in the hierarchy in the food chain there?
I'm the original.
You're the OG, and Sam, you're the third. Wow.
Sam is the only one not born in Texas.
Oh, that's an interesting fact. Where were you born?
We were up in Memphis, Tennessee for a little while, for a couple of years. Well, not too long, because the kids before and after me were in Texas, but so I guess at least 2 years we were in Memphis, but we moved back to Texas when I was a couple months old, so not there too long.
And just for a lot of what I do here is both for selfish and selfless, but just for context, and you guys, I mean, you seem, I don't want to presume anything, but you seem close now. Obviously, and we'll get into all of your fun videos. You obviously work together. You enjoying this hobby together. But did you always have a strong relationship? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot going on with 8 kids. But did you buddy up when you were, young boys out there?
Sam, I may leave some of this for you to answer, but I mean, we have a much tighter family unit, I think, than most people do, because we were homeschooled, and then I left out home church. We were actually in Memphis for my dad to go to seminary, and so yeah, I mean, it was a lot of playing in the woods and doing school together, and we didn't have radio or TV, so there was a lot of art and drawing and playing sports with ourselves, with the siblings. But we did pair off kind of oddly amongst the 8. So Sam, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I would definitely say for the most part we all stayed pretty tight together from the beginning. Being homeschooled and being home all the time, and then We didn't, there wasn't a huge homeschool community where we lived in East Texas. There was some, um, but when you're not, leaving and going to school every day, a lot of our time was spent at home. So you kind of get used to uh, being around family. And I don't know if it was the homeschool part or what, but yeah, I mean, we got into fights and stuff as much as any kids do, but even now, yeah, we're all still pretty close.
Now, obviously, you've dove into entrepreneurship. You have a lot of plate spinning. Did you have any of those tendencies as children as well?
Not really. I mean, a lot of it was again. I think Sam made a good point about the fact that there, whether it was homeschool or just being home all the time, we were kind of not in regular society very much. So like we didn't grow up with other kids, or I mean, it was very very limited. I would almost describe it more like Amish, so secluded or sequestered from society. So it wasn't until I turned 18 and started to, I guess, rebel a little bit that I think my parents figured out that maybe their plans weren't going to work out for like a long-term relationship. So they started easing up on the kids after me. So like as soon as Sam turned 16, he could come over to my house and watch TV at my house. Like, does that make sense? Like before that, there was no television, no movies, no radio,
Got it.
But so I think we just started. We kind of got jobs and got girlfriends or partners, and then we started trying to figure out what we wanted to do. So we're kind of late bloomers in a way, in the sense of like, I feel like a lot of our 20s was just testing out different jobs.
Sure, sure. That's really really interesting. Especially you. That's a good point. You were like the first run, and then everyone kind of learned from your experience. Um, so wow. So were you getting like that FOMO? Like I know you weren't seeing a lot of it, like you said, but like I mean, I'm sure as you got older, like you wanted to test out a lot of things,
Hmm.
not just jobs. Like, did you have that sense at all? Like, I'm missing out here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think there was a definite like how do I fit in society? How do I play a role? How do I what job do I go get? I remember Sam and I drove a couple. Maybe Sam, did you go up to Tyler to go to that like junior college or whatever, or was that me and Dan? We were like taking college courses, like, but we were klepping out of them. We were like,
The clap test or whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I did a couple of those.
okay. So like we tried college and it was like a terrible result. That did not go well for me, at least. I'll say that. Um, but yeah, I mean, Rob, I watched TV for like 3 straight years. I mean,
Mm,
like I had a job and I was like having kids and stuff, but like I was catching up on the 80s and 90s of pop culture.
wow, super super interesting, and I'm sure uh, that's fascinating, and there's a lot of layers to that I'd love to go into. Homeschooling as parents, it's not something obviously I did, but now as a parent, it's something that we've spent a lot of time thinking about and are very close to taking that next step to really pursuing that. So there's a lot of layers to that for on a personal level for me. I do want to fast forward though to a little later on in both of your
Well,
lives.
hang on, Sam. Do your comic book one. We may make Rob late, but
No, that's fine.
Oh yeah. Um, well, Ben kind of mentioned the homeschooling and home church and stuff growing up. Um, most of us did not go to college until my sister, who's number 6 of 8. She did go to college, but so I didn't go to college either. Um, I took the GED as soon as I turned 17. And then I went to work doing most of my early years was doing construction. I did residential construction, mostly framing, remodeling, finish carpentry, that type of thing for 8 or 9 years, um, until the heat of Texas just was made it miserable, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I kind of got more into the family business. We had Ben started a coffee shop. My brother Andrew started a furniture or bought a furniture consignment business. So I was involved in those two for quite a few years. And then the tattoo shop. And then for the last 4 years, running the software development company. So after the construction, yeah, it was a lot of family businesses, running 2 or 3 of those at the same time. So it was a lot of good business experience. Made a little more difficult sometimes by working with family, but it was a lot of fun.
I bet it's got its perks and its challenges, and just from I'm sure that they each have their own interesting origin story, but it seems just from an outsider's perspective that they're kind of all over the place, like tattoo shop, software development, coffee. Like it's like, is it like whatever you just like to do? Like you guys just like, let's start a business.
Yeah, it was.
Let's turn this money machine on.
Kind of just what happened. It wasn't like we decided beforehand specifically. Like the furniture business, we knew somebody that had this business and they were getting out of it, and we were like, yeah, we could do that. Let's give that a shot. And that thing's been running for the last 12 years or something. And then Ben was working at Starbucks, and there was a guy that was wanting to open up a coffee shop downtown, and it was just kind of right place, right time, and Ben took that and ran with it.
Amazing. And do you both enjoy? I mean, I'm sure you have to at some level to have it sustainable, but do you both enjoy having the multiple plates spinning? Like how do you keep it all going?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's definitely a limit to how much you can do at one time. I would say three is my max. I don't have anything to do with the furniture store anymore, and I'm not too involved with the coffee shop. So most of my time is with the software development and a little bit in the tattoo shop. But yeah, there's definitely a limit to how many business uses you can run well at one time. But the fact that there were, me, Ben, and Andy kind of all working together in different parts of the businesses kind of made it work a little bit easier. I don't think any of us are particularly great at running businesses on our own, but we also have different skill sets. I'm not the people person for businesses. That's definitely not my strength, but I am very good at the financial, organizational side. So I kind of get to stay in the backgrounds and do that part.
Yeah, but for me, I am the people person. I do want to talk to everybody. I want to meet everyone, and I really want to get into the business and really do all the jobs that the business does until I understand it. But I'm terrible with money, and I'm terrible at organization. So you can see how it kind of like washed out there, in the sense that at some point we kind of started to figure out as we got older, oh, wait, I'm not good at this and you are. Why don't you head up that part of, you know, and we're fairly. I agree with Sam that we're not perfect, and it does cause some issues from time to time, but we're pretty good at staying out of each other's lanes.
That's great.
For instance, when I come to Sam and say, "Hey, I want to spend this money," and Sam says no, like that's the end of the conversation. Like we don't. I don't sit there and argue with him about it for a week and a half. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, if I have a really good idea that I feel very strongly that we should put money into, then I'm probably going to wait until Sam's having a good day and be like, hey, I have one of my crazy ideas again. How could we fund this?
Mm.
And you see him smiling. So that probably means it happened earlier today.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny because it's true. And I'm sure it takes you a while it took you a while to get there. I found one of your old tweets on April 20th of 23. You said, I work with the best people on the planet. Mm-hmm. So that sounds like it was a good day. Something was launched then and funded on that day.
Yeah, I do, but see, that's a big thing too with getting older. I mean, I'm 44 now, and I'm very slowly starting to pick up what Gary is putting down, I feel like. And it's taken me a lot of years, but like, what is the point of working with people you don't like? Like I'd really rather make a lot less money. And Sam is not the only person I work with. I mean, there's quite a bit, but there's 7 people over at the tattoo shop, and I think at the time I made that tweet, there were like 10 at the software development company. So like, we're talking about 15, 16, 17 people here, but it really affects my mindset to spend time every day with people I like. Like that's a big deal.
It's all we have is our time. And it's funny, the self-awareness thing is something that I never thought about. I mean, it's a great segue to Gary in a second, but I really leaned into that, and it sounds like you guys, with your roles and staying in your lanes, it's something that you kind of figured out. But yeah, it's so important. And even like, you said you're 44, I'm 37. If you think about it from his perspective, like, man, if we figure it out now, like we still have so much more time to flourish in our self-awareness and who we are and and avoid what we don't like to do, and really dive in deep head first to what we do like to do and what we are good at. But with that said, I'd love to rewind, and I always like to ask, like, when was the first time you heard the name Gary Vee?
That was probably 2012, 2013 for me. I was about to open the tattoo shop. And a friend of mine who was very big into YouTube and like Casey Neistat and all those guys, he said, hey, I really think you'd like this guy, Gary Vee. And I think the first video I watched, Gary was saying, you don't have to create content. You can just document what you do. And so when I opened the tattoo shop, we literally documented everything for like if you scroll back to the beginning of Black Spot's Instagram, there are some really bad tattoos. I mean, I'm just going to tell you straight up, like there is like at the beginning of Black Spot's Instagram, there's like my first, second, fourth, 8th, 9th, 10th tattoo, and that was me learning.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really look at like the progress from 2014 until today, and you can see how far we've come. But that was the idea. I was just like, okay, well, cool. I'm not going to create anything. I'm just going to document everything I do, and it'll be fine.
That's awesome that you have that, especially in that art form. I never really thought about someone giving their first tattoo. Man,
it's abjectly terrifying.
Courageous soul. Sam, what about you?
Definitely a lot later for me. hearing Ben talk about Gary Vee a lot, and just to the point where probably it was probably a year before the NFT launch of V1, and it was just like, oh my God, Ben's talking about Gary Vee again. I had just never looked into the guy. Like I was busy. I had stuff going. It was just one of those things where it's like, yeah, Gary Vee. And then at some point in 2020, I was like, fine, all right, I'll figure out what's going on. Let me start looking into this guy. Um, and we were talking about once he announced the NFTs that he was releasing, we're like, this could be interesting. Maybe we should try to get involved with that. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot later on. And then once I started, watching some videos and stuff, all right, I was like, yeah, this he's saying some interesting things. He's definitely got something going.
Mm. So let's go there. May 2021. You're interested. Your interest is peaked. At that point, are you into crypto? Any other NFTs? Is any of that hit your radar? Or are you kind of learning with all the other V friends at the time on how to do all that stuff?
I don't think we had any NFTs before that, did we?
No, I don't think. Also, don't know if I had any crypto before that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there were a couple times earlier on that I played around with random stuff, and yeah, I messed around with Bitcoin when it was $800, and just it was something dumb people were throwing away their money in that was never going to be anything. um, you know. But yeah, that was first time getting a MetaMask wallet, figuring out how to buy Ethereum, how to get an NFT. That was kind of where it started, and then it was like, man, these are going to be expensive. Ethereum was at $4,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Of course,
I
it
think
had
we
to be
were.
at its highest like right then. So we were like, man, can we get enough Ethereum
Yeah,
to make this happen?
I think we were gonna mint the day it went live, and then Ethereum jumped again, and both of us were just like, "This is dumb. This is a lot of money."
Yeah, and then they had the issues with the whole gas fees and everything.
Hmm.
But yeah, still it was, yeah, for buying an NFT, like we definitely went expensive on the first one.
And to that point, they were scheduled to do a May 5th drop, and they delayed it. It got delayed, and even in those few days, like it went just soared to the 11th when it ultimately dropped. So so you opened up the wallet, pun intended, for the mint. And so what did you jump on? Or actually, let's take a step back there. What was your first thoughts? But because before that, we didn't know the word VeeFriends existed. We didn't know what it was until they refreshed that browser. Dutch auction style, different characters, access tokens. So what were your takes first, Ben? What was your first thought? If you can
Yeah,
rewind the clocks back to that day.
yeah. I mean, I think I definitely had a character I wanted, and then I really thought the access tokens were amazing, and I wanted to do that, but everything was just so expensive. Like as a small business owner, I taking $2,500, like that might be my advertising money for the next quarter. Yeah,
Sure.
I know that people think like, oh, you own a coffee shop, that's amazing, but like seriously, $2,500, like that's two baristas' salaries. Like I can't just throw that away. I can't just. And so I think if I recall correctly, by the time I got to the time I was ready to buy, I was more interested in what I could get, not what I wanted.
That makes
So
a ton of sense.
by then, I think like the kind kudu was gone. You know, I think some of the like apes and stuff were gone. You know, and I was just going, okay, if I'm going to buy this and hold it for 3 decades, and I just literally spent like 5 hours and went through all the characters, and I thought the unwavering urchin was the coolest. And because I read a lot, I already knew that urchin had 2 definitions. You know, it's like a sea creature, or it's like a poor, raggedly dressed child. And that's kind of like my thing, you know, like that's how I show up in the world. So I was just like, yeah, I'm going to take that guy.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember having a particular character or anything I was going for. It was definitely more of, uh, can we wait for, the prices of these to go down? Are they going to get to 0.5 at the bottom? Are they going to sell before that? Are we going to be able to buy one? And once stuff finally started getting to 0.5, it was just, kind of looking through and just, and then I ended up with the big game Bandicoot.
I love it. So it sounds like initially you were in for the long haul. Ben, you said, you're holding it for 3 decades. And I can't remember if he was shouting from the rooftops the whole 55-year thing at that point, at that juncture. But it's interesting that you had that vision from day one.
Well, okay, but you have to remember that I'm old enough. Like I went through Amazon's crash. Like 1998, 1999, Amazon's a big deal. It's trading at 70 or something. And then 2001, it crashes to like $1.80, 210, 220. And I remember I had 2 small children in 2001, like very small, like 3 and 1, or 2 and 1, and 2 and 6 months. And I remember thinking, God, if I could get my hands on some money, I should buy this stock at $2. And then I was like, nah, but we're just regular people. We don't buy stock. We don't do that. You know what I mean? And then to watch the next, as I'm raising kids over the next 20 years, to watch what Amazon did. And it's not just the stock price, but it's literally reset the entire globe and go, I could have had a piece of that for $2. Like, so when Gary said, I'm going to do this, I was like, yeah, I know what's going to happen here. Like, I couldn't believe they were selling for $2,000, but like, it was like, look, this is going to go to zero. It's obvious. Everybody's going to hate this stuff. And it's obvious that everybody's going to hate it. But when you think about what I've just experienced in the past 20 years, like I just missed out. Do I want to do that again?
That's such an interesting take. And I was in the same boat. We didn't get a V1. Like we were right on the cusp of potentially, but that ETH store really put me out. And I had that same feeling. I didn't live through that Amazon, but I just know I re-gotten into Gary, or re-gotten into cards through Gary, and just everything he said, it was just on fire. Plus all the Flip Life stuff. So I was like, man, like this is going to be a winner. So I just, here I am, just playing the best I can, attaching the flag to it. But I totally see what you're saying. So at that time, were you guys in the Discord? Were you in the Clubhouse? Eventually, Twitter Spaces. How tapped into the community were you at that time?
I joined Discord and then said, Sam, keep an eye on it for me, and left and never went back.
Yeah. Even I joined Discord, pretty early, but yeah, for the first year or so, I wasn't that involved. And then even like going to even a year later, whatever, going to VeeCon 1, um, I didn't know. I didn't know anybody that was going to be at VeeCon or anything like that. Um, so early on, no, not plugged in that much, I would say.
And did you go to VeeCon 1 together? Both of you?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
What was, obviously no one really knew what to expect outside of a few promo videos, which obviously were, like anything else Gary does, super high bar, very cool and enticing. But real quick take from VeeCon 1, how was your experience there?
I had a great time. I didn't meet a lot of people. I didn't really, I sat in the back. Sometimes Sam and I sat together, sometimes we didn't. It was good, but I didn't really know what to do. Like with myself. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. So Sam, what was your?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was definitely a positive experience. Yeah, I think most people didn't really know what it was going to be like getting there. I'm definitely glad I went though, and met a few people there. The amount of speakers and different meetings that we were able to get into was pretty awesome. So I mean, after that, I was like, yeah, we gotta come back next year.
Yeah.
And so let's go there. How was it? How was it different, your experience in VeeCon 2 than 1? I have a sense that you got out of your shell a little bit more.
Yeah, I met a lot more people. I mean, I started meeting people from day one. I had been, so I think I decided at V1 or a little bit before to start learning Twitter, because most of my business has been on Facebook and Instagram. That's how I've made money. So I didn't understand Twitter, so I decided to get on it. And it took me a long time to figure it out. But I would say after VeeCon 1, I was able to kind of tap into the Twitter community, which is pretty loud compared to like Instagram or something like that. And so after V1, I met a lot of people, made a lot of connections on social media, and then was able to kind of meet those people in real life at VeeCon 2.
Similar, Sam?
A little bit less than Ben, I would say. Ben's definitely more of the people person. Um, my wife came with us to the second VCon. So that was a lot of fun. She has not really involved with Gary Vee or anything, so it was kind of her first experience getting into that as well. Um, and we were just kind of starting to get into cards and stuff too. I think right before we went to VCon 2. So that was a pretty interesting aspect as well. Doing that, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's go there. So that VeeCon 2 kind of is the unofficial start for what we now refer to as Cardboard Summer. You obviously got cards in the mail because it came with a Series 2, which you got for owning a Series 1. Did you open those? Did they sit on your shelf? What did you do with those original boxes?
Oh no, we opened all of them, and we did not record any of it.
Were you excited? Were you?
Sam, how did we get into cards? Because I feel like even at V2, we maybe had like 5 slabs.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were just barely like when we originally got the boxes when they first came out. Yeah, we opened them all up, but we didn't really know what to do with them. I think we got the cards and then we just had piles of cards after that. And I didn't even think about grading them or playing the game or anything like that. It was just like oh, we've got these cards.
Yeah.
And it wasn't till much later getting into VeeCon 2 and after VeeCon where it was like, oh, there's going to be a game. There's, people want to collect these things and stuff like that. So it was definitely a slow start on the cards.
I feel like VeeCon 2 was our second chance to go all in on Gary. Like we
Mm,
went to VeeCon 2, we had a good time, we saw all the people, we met a lot of people, and we were like, okay, do you want to buy NFTs again? Like, nah, let's not buy NFTs again. Let's buy physical things.
I love that. That makes so much sense, and that's actually what happened. That's actually
Yeah.
what happened. I just remember I just was not into the cards. I just
Yeah.
never like I watched maybe 25 collective minutes of Jeremy streaming because Jeremy was the one of the original people that would get on Twitch and stream box breaks. But even it was like okay, like cool. It didn't really mean anything to me, but it was that ending that card night on the last night of VeeCon 2 where the energy was there, like the team was there. Gary was breaking their Series 1, Series 2. People were trading, signing. Like you could just tell that something was happening.
You want to know
Uh,
what's crazy? I slept through that.
oh no.
I didn't even know, and I was happy about it. Like I woke up at like 1 a.m, and I was just like, that is the best sleep I've had in 4 days.
Killer nap. There's that. Hey,
But it's hilarious that this has gone the way it has, and neither Sam nor I made it to card night.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what May. That's mid-May. By the end of July, you are both invited. You start these amazing, high quality, funny, entertaining CGC card reveal videos. You're totally injected in the card community, and you're both invited to uh, the national to play in the first ever alpha playtest tournament. So what happened in those 2 months? Like you had someone had to say, "Hey, like let's do this," or was it just
No,
gradual and fast?
no, I think what happened was we made a bunch of videos for that eruption. And
Oh, Eruption 5.
yeah, so we made a bunch of videos for that, right? And we didn't, I don't even know if we got like a response email. Like we probably did, but like, you know what I mean? Like it was just like dead air.
Yeah, I think we made like 8 different videos,
Yeah.
and what was it? It was burning a V2, wasn't it? So I think
Hmm.
we burned 8 V2s or whatever to submit all those.
Oh, good Lord.
And then just radio silence. Like our creativity over. And then I remember one day Sam going, "Hey, why don't you get Ro and we'll make a video opening a box of cards." And that was and that literally, we had so much fun doing it that we just did it the next day. And
Yeah,
so
if
we
we
just
hadn't have
we
if we hadn't have entered the Burn Island eruption and started doing videos, yeah, I don't know if we would have started making videos about cards or anything.
yeah.
So I mean, you've accumulated a lot. I don't know how many videos you've had, but a lot of cards, and those are just the ones that you've sent to get graded. Um, and it was funny. I can't remember which one or when it was, but the first time you got an 8, you like froze on it, and like both of you were in shock. Like we've never had an 8. Like how could this even be a thing? Get this shit out of here. Um, but like it's super entertaining, a different flavor uh to content about cards, which I think a lot of people appreciate. And obviously, so generous. You know, you can't, on either of your streams, your Twitter feeds, scroll a couple days without reading about kindness, and that kind of is just emulates off of you. And with that, there was a video you put out, I think in June, that you got scammed, and I think not the scamming is obviously unfortunate, but the way you handled it and the moment you turned into, I think, was really amazing, and says a lot about both of you. Would you mind just rehashing that, just like the 30 to 90-second story, I guess?
If you don't mind, while Sam thinks about that, I'm going to go back even further because this has been a reoccurring theme for me. The business my brother Andy bought, the furniture consignment business, that lady sold the business to us because she said I helped her out about 5 years earlier with a bunch of money for a divorce lawyer. Rob, I literally don't remember that. She was my hairdresser, and like I don't, but I would have been 17 at the time. So to have a bunch of money doesn't sound true.
Right. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like literally I ran into her and she's like, "Hey, I'm selling my business and you helped me out before." And I'm like, I don't think that's true. And she ended up, so I think, as Sam will know more about the details of getting scammed, I hope. But the whole idea there is like, why carry these things around with us? Like just live it the best you can and get the lesson, and then take a good perspective and go to bed and be like, tomorrow will take, like tomorrow's got its own problems. So Sam, what was the scam?
I thought about that in like the last
this is what I do. I just
yeah,
just
so
bring up the worst.
We were buying, or I was buying cards through Discord, as that was kind of getting crazy. We were, I don't even remember what it was we were buying, but that was kind of for a month or two or a couple months there. We were going pretty heavy on buying cards and buying boxes. You could say maybe too heavy with, but yeah, I was trying to work out a trade on Discord, and I don't remember who it was, but there was a bunch of cards I was trying to buy, and I was trying to send the payment to somebody, and it wasn't working, and then we ended up, we was like, okay, we'll just do, I'll send Ethereum. And then as soon as that happened, and I sent the Ethereum or whatever, and I was like, this is weird. There's something weird going on. And I went back and realized that this somebody had made a fake Discord profile, pretending to be someone. Oh, and I didn't even know you could do that. And could copy somebody's Discord profile that much. So yeah, that was a good learning experience. To the tune of $1,000 or something.
But I think what you and I talked about is like, yeah, okay, so this hurts, and it's going to hurt today. It's going to hurt for a couple days, honestly. But everybody we know is healthy. Like, your nieces and nephews are healthy. My sons and daughters are healthy. Like, all the crew at both businesses are good. We're learning. We're making mistakes. We're messing up. We're having wins. We're having losses. But like, we're in the game, and that's just how it goes sometimes. When you're in the arena, is like, you do stuff that doesn't work.
I love that perspective, and it was such an amplified message and ray of light when you put out that video, because you're being transparent and sounding the horn, like, hey, this happened to us. Don't let it happen to you. And like, we're gonna double down on that and like give away. I don't even remember what you gave away. And it 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 in theory it doesn't even matter. Just the fact that you just came with that extra layer of kindness and giving, that just really struck me.
Some of that, Rob, though, is being from Texas. It's like, okay, we're losing. Okay, watch this.
I love that.
We're not, I mean, like, look, we love where we're from, but we're not always the brightest, okay?
That's amazing. Yeah. But it was, a lot of times I ask people, like, someone, blow the whistle on someone. Let's give roses to someone that's normally doesn't want to be in the spotlight and very humble and giving. But like, I definitely want to blow the whistle on both of you for that. And not that that's the only time you've done anything generous, but it was just it was a really cool moment, I think, and a great learning experience, because people are getting scammed all the time in Discord. A lot of I've had people on the show from the team that have gotten scammed from the Discord, thinking that like they're talking to Andy in the Discord, regulating these trades or whatever. But like, it happens to everybody. But just that short little season, to your first reaction was to give back, I think just says a lot about both of you. But yes, I did not mean to rip open any wounds there.
No, it's definitely just one of those things that happens. They were one of the. I bought a V1. I don't know, a year ago or something. A rare Karen camel, and like 6 months later or something, it got it turned out it had been stolen from somebody, and I was like the fifth person who bought it down the line or whatever, and it got flagged or whatever, so I couldn't sell it. So it's one of those things where, like, yeah, I spent a lot of money on that. I may not ever be able to sell it or get my money back, but
so you're stuck with it.
Do? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's tough, because the same thing happened to me in V2. Like, I saved up and I saved up and I saved up, and I bought a Persian cat, and everything was clean on it when I bought it. A V2 perfect Persian. And 8 weeks later, it's flagged that it was stolen like 9 months ago. So again, I'm stuck with it. But I think the thing that we're trying to promote in our videos, I mean, as well as humor and entertainment, is when you're in the game, like when you're living, that kind of stuff just happens. Like, I've had people tell me that I'm really lucky my entire life. And I learned by my mid-30s that I'm not lucky. I just play more than everyone else does. Like, and I don't mean like at a particular game. I mean, like, I literally start more businesses and fail at more businesses than most people try starting. So yeah, we do have a business that Sam and I work on together that's in software development, and we do have a coffee shop, and we do have something, but at the same time, there's been 9 more that didn't work.
That's the game.
I just play more. And when you play, you win sometimes and you lose sometimes.
Speaking of playing the game and not being so lucky, you did have you did have
you're gonna hurt me.
A moment. I'm just totally retracting my ripping open wounds statement. So funny content, playing the game. You and Teacher, and Cardboard Summer, and Cardboard Summer had an amazing umbrella of Rivalry videos and kind of fun little shticks to keep it fun. But I think it was just one box battle. You guys battled
I
Tom,
really wish your video
and
or your
the
audio would cut out.
loser.
Okay, go ahead.
The loser had to get a tattoo. I can't remember
Mhm.
Tom's potential punishment, but you ultimately ended up losing and
Mhm.
had to get a catfish tattoo, which
Yeah.
you stuck to. Now, did both of you?
Sam decided to go ahead and get the black cat tattoo because he had
Gotcha. That
pulled the black cat
I
on
saw that
Courage's
picture.
stream. And then he got to show it to Gary too, which was amazing. But no, Sam got the cat, and we made a video out of that because he was like, "Hey, look, I got it," and it wasn't the catfish, you know. And so that made Tom even more mad. And then I ended up, but see, that's the thing. So like, I have like 15 Naruto tattoos, which for those who don't know, Naruto is an anime that I'm a big fan of. Um, when my kids were born, I felt like there were no cartoons that taught like character qualities and stuff, right? That taught like look out for your friends and life is hard and like don't give up, don't ever give up. And so we started watching this anime, Naruto, that had all the things that I really liked. So I got super into it. And so I got a bunch of Naruto tattoos. I have Hello Kitty tattoos. So when Gary originally drew these characters, I saw the potential right away and went like, these are dope. Like I understand what people are going to say about them, but as initial concept art, this is freaking incredible. It's like street art. Like you could put this, like if I was still at 17, I'd probably go grab some spray paint cans and go down to the train yard and paint some like hype horses, like that's what I would do. So I love getting the V1 art tattooed on me. I just think it's really cool.
I love that. And Sam, what was Gary's reaction when you showed him?
He loved it. I had him sign my arm where the tattoo was.
That's amazing.
But yeah, he kind of freaked out a little bit there. So that was kind of fun.
Sasha was very disappointed in me when he saw the urchin on my knee. He was with Gary when I showed Gary my tattoo of the unwavering urchin. Sasha was there, and it was so great because it was literally the same look my dad had when I got my first tattoo. It was the best. But as older now, I got my first tattoo at 18. I'm 44. So to get to experience that disappointed dad look again was just the best thing ever.
Especially that dad at VeeCon. That's cool. That's cool. Did he say anything, or was it just his affect and expression?
Yeah, no, he was speaking in Russian to Gary, and Gary was going, "It's a tattoo. Look how cool it is." And he just was saying things in Russian, and I was
That's
like,
amazing.
I know what that is. Like, I know what you're mad about right now. It's okay. I get it.
Oh, that's so fun. So, we're in a place where we're getting to be Thanksgiving time of 2023. A lot of people are coming in. I was just listening to the Fanatics, and a ton of new people coming in every day. The cards are hot. And we know that this is just going to be a compounding effect. But like for maybe people coming to the shop, or people that in your other circles that see your beautiful collector's corner, maybe, or they see a picture, what do you, and someone take the ball and run with this, what do you tell a non-V friend, like when they ask what the hell is this thing, what is VeeFriends?
VeeFriends calls it, with the cards and stuff, what do they call it? Pokemon meets Sesame Street or something. There's a lot of aspects to what VeeFriends is doing, but to me, VeeFriends is more of a community than anything else. There's a lot of different ways to get into VeeFriends, whether it's NFTs or cards or merch or going to VeeCon or whatever. But the biggest thing to me has just been the the community of people surrounding VeeFriends and the people that I've met and the relationships and stuff. It's just it's a it's a it's a crazy positive amount of people involved.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I'm so into anime, I hope I hope one day we see VeeFriends anime. Um, I but for me, I don't think you have to collect anything to be into VeeFriends. I think VeeFriends is just to Sam's point, it's a more community oriented way to be into positive life lessons. Like a lot of people really, like several of my brothers really don't like Gary Vee, like at all. A lot of that is probably my fault, because I either talked about him so much or I'm very passionate, but not as successful financially. But so I think this is a safe way to get the same message across, to tell the same stories, but in a voice that's not Gary's if you don't vibe with him. And I think that's anyone's dream who loves to tell stories. It's like, look, I don't really care how you get this lesson. I just want you to get it.
Mm. And to come full circle back to self-awareness, he said that multiple times, that he's very aware that a lot of people don't like him, but those people that don't like him could like Empathy Elephant or Self-Aware Hair, Hot Shit Hornet, to deliver those messages. I love that. Real quick, what is a character, Ben, that you feel like you need to spend more time with? Meaning, you by osmosis, you want to get more of what they have to offer. And Sam, I'm coming to you next.
Okay, so this is going to surprise a lot of people because my handle is Ben Kind. I'm actually not very kind to myself. I've been working on it for about a decade. I'm really proud of myself now that I'm in therapy, and it's been very helpful. But it's actually why I named my account Ben Kind, so that every time I logged in, I would have to remind myself to be nice to myself. And then whenever I tweet, some people have seen it, but not a lot have. Whenever I tweet "kindness always wins," it probably means that I'm either going through an anxiety attack or I'm being really hard on myself. And people don't know that I use my social media to talk to myself. So I'm gonna stick with the kind kudu.
Kind kudu, great answer. Thank you. All right, let's go to whiskey.
That's not a question I've really considered before, so that was an interesting question. Off the top of my head, I would probably say, strangely enough, I would say motivated monster, because I am not an inherently motivated person. I definitely struggle with keeping myself motivated on, whether it's work or personal or something like that. So yeah, that's probably what I'd go with.
I love that. Both great answers, and one I vibe with both of those. I totally get it and appreciate your transparency. Before we get into the last bit here, I just want to thank both of you for your time and for all of our technical difficulties, and for just being amazing ambassadors to this community. not only just the VeeFriends card world, but VeeFriends and just humanity. It's really awesome. And special personal shout out, when I unfortunately didn't get to go, but I was happy that Chelsea got to go experience the national and meet you guys. And as a sending your wife off to Chicago by herself, walking around wasn't the warmest feeling in my heart. But she said that you both took her under your wing, and I really, really appreciate that. So
it was a really good time, and there were a lot of. It wasn't just us; it was a lot of people that were making sure no one got left out. And that was really neat because Michelle or Chelsea or someone would be like, "Oh, hey, what about? Isn't that a V? Hey, go grab them." And I would run over and be like, "Hey, I'm Ben," and they'd be like, "Oh my God, Ben Kind," and I'd be like, "Are you going to the place? Because we're going to the place." Like, like we were just like rounding up. So it was kind of a family effort, and I really loved that about it. I do hope, or you're coming to VeeCon 24, right?
Oh, yeah, I will, God willing, never miss a VeeCon.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get to for sure meet there. We're bringing way too many people.
I love that. Let's go. I can't wait. We'll see what kind of a family affair that the Messer clan brings, but we'll be rolling up.
Very good.
So this last quick segment is called Micro Macro Spitfire. So I'm going to shout out some really quick questions. You can answer it really quick. Macro, yes, no, or get your microscope out and really elaborate as to why that is. So if you are just getting into, and well, I've never done this with two people, so let's go. Ben.
It'll be bad if we can't hear the question.
Let's go Ben first, and then Sam. If you are just getting, feel free to skip too. If you were just getting into VeeFriends for the first time, who is someone you have to follow immediately?
Josh Courage.
I was actually going to say Jeremy.
Your Series 1 Grail card. You guys might have it.
I would say a Kind Kudu. Probably an Epic.
Mine would definitely be a Harbuck.
The one card you have now that you cannot part with.
I don't think it's up here, but the upside down conviction cockroach.
Yeah, that's a good one. And obviously the black cat insert. I don't think we'll be getting rid of it anytime soon.
So sick. I saw that. Your favorite activation that VeeFriends has done?
The gameplay.
Man, I don't know. They've all been great. I don't know if I could pick one.
I feel like you've done two of the, not that you have to pick one of these, but you've done two of the character scene swaps, and I haven't.
Yeah, the super sticker scene swap I did with the Emerald V2 Bandicoot, and then
that's clean.
I forget what the first scene was, the Galaxy or something space. I forget what that was called, but that was a great one too.
Emerald, man, that's super nice. I know we've been talking a lot about cards, but what brand, influencer, personality, whatever, if you saw that they were coming out with an NFT project, you'd have to drop everything for that day and grab it?
Naruto.
I would probably have to get Naruto as well if it came out.
Oh, nice. A secret talent that you have that most people don't know.
At one time, I could quote the book of First Peter.
That was a while back. It's not really an active talent anymore, but I was in a barbershop quartet for about 4 or 5 years, singing barbershop.
That's
That was a lot of fun. Don't get a
amazing.
chance
Favorite
to do it
concert?
as much lately, though.
That should be your next video. Favorite concert you've ever been to?
Counting Crows, San Antonio, 2001.
I don't have an answer to that. I haven't been to that many concerts.
Would you rather have a 2-hour group dinner with Gary, you and 9 other people, or a 20-minute one-on-one?
2-hour dinner.
I would say 20-minute one-on-one.
Interesting. Ben, I'm going to go to you. I'm going to break this next one up. Totally selfish. What is the best, or let's say your favorite country to source beans?
I have a real particular warm spot in my heart for Guatemala.
All right, and Whiskey Jack, you're rolling up to the bar. You could have 3 fingers of anything. What are you ordering?
I should probably have like a favorite whiskey or something by now, but honestly, my go-to is a whiskey and Coke, and for that, I'm not picky on the whiskey, as long as it's whiskey.
What? As long as it's
We're gonna have to change your name now to Whiskey and Coke.
Whiskey and Coke. It, and lastly, simple. I like it. And we can definitely have one of those at VeeCon, because that's my jam. If you could ask Gary one question, what would it be?
Oh, I know. Can he convince Dustin to get a tattoo?
Interesting.
I wasn't expecting that one.
No, I would probably have to think about that. If Gary was here right now, I probably wouldn't be able to come up with a question. My mind would probably just blank.
That's probably accurate.
I tend to have to think about things for a little while.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's it's hard for me too, and I think a lot about it just because I consume so much, and he's like, what he's gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time I know how he's gonna answer a question 95% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me, especially I know how much he values time, and when you know how quick those VeeCon interactions are, or if you're see him at the National or wherever at some of these exclusive events, you get time, but man, it's precious. So I think about that question a lot. This was awesome. I can't wait to do this IRL, whether it be LA, Texas, Delaware, wherever.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen, and we'll get some CNC going, and the coffee brewing, the whiskey and Cokes flowing, all of the above. So I can't thank you gentlemen enough for coming on, and it's been a real treat.
Let me ask if I can flip it on you for just a second, Rob.
Let's go.
What's your vision for VeeFam Sessions?
My vision for VeeFam Sessions, I'm going to talk to everyone that I possibly can that's connected to this, and I'm compiling all the conversations into a book that's going to be the oral history of the first. In my head it's 5 years, but we'll see what it ends up being the first years of VeeFriends.
That's freaking amazing.
That's it.
I love that.
That's it, my friend.
I'm so happy that you invited us on, and if we can help in any way, please let me know. Let us know. I think that's a great. That's one of the best ideas I've heard about VeeFriends so far. So I think that's a pretty good idea.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I don't read many books, I like the idea of reading books, but I like starting a book and actually finishing it. It's just rare for me. I just rarely do it. But and it's interesting because Gary had the author on. This guy does oral history books. He's done one on HBO. He's done one on ESPN, and I read that, and it's just telling how these amazing things were built through the eyes of everyone that played a role in it. So big moments, huge transactions, the people that lived it. So I just envisioned that's what we're doing now. We're living it. So I'm just trying, like we talked about at the beginning, with the Instagram, just documenting.
Yeah,
and that's
it.
Really
cool.
But I probably will knock on your door for YouTube advice, because I need to get more serious about that. And I think we talked about that. Potentially. I think we may DM'd about that. But yeah, I appreciate it. And I think that's the first question someone's asked me. So this is a historical episode on 2 accounts. The first question asked, and the first time we've had 2 guests. So amazing.
We're gonna have to stop because we're just freezing all the time.
Oh, you're freezing now too?
Yeah.
Something's wrong with the Riverside. All right. You thank you guys, and we will chat soon.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks.